Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Following my last video where we condensed series 1 to 4 of Doctor Who into an 8-episode series, we're going to be doing it again for Matt Smith's time in the TARDIS as the 11th Doctor, with series 5 to 7 being the subject of the video. Let's get right into the video. Where did it begin? On a cold night in Ledworth, with young Amelia Pond waiting for the madman with a box. In series 5's first episode, The 11th Hour, this is easily one of Moffat's best, giving such a strong opening to Series 5. This series was quite remarkable because it has quite a lot of ongoing threads, sort of events leading into the finale, which work really well. We've obviously got the cracks in time, which played a huge part in the series, as well as Rory and Amy's relationship, and the inevitable explosion of the TARDIS. After the 11th hour, we would skip 2 episodes and go straight into the Weeping Angel double-part serial, The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, which would see River Song reunite with the Doctor after quite a few years. Not a lot is missing, skipping The Beast Below and Victory of the Daleks. I'm not a fan of the latter. I think the Paradigm Daleks are absolutely ridiculous. They don't appear scary or terrifying. However, I will say when we get the stone version of the Paradigm Dalek, that looks really cool. With 3 of the first 5 episodes intact, we would then have to cut the Vampires of Venice from the series, removing the stag do plot for Rory, which weakens the development of his and Amy's relationship, though the next episode, Amy's choice, would make up for this absence. After coming across the Dream Lord and obviously the weird old people, this is where we start to break the rules. A lot of people suggested sort of condensing 2-part episodes into 1 episode that was a bit longer perhaps, so this is what we do for the Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, making it a singular extended episode essentially. Rory needs to die in Series 5 for the series to actually make sense. Obviously, he's erased from time. Amy forgets him. It's this whole big thing leading into the finale. So yeah, episode 5 would be this extended Silurian episode. Now, of course, Series 5 would not be the series it is without Vincent and the Doctor, and this would lead us into the 2-part finale, the Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang. We would miss out on James Corden in Doctor Who, and I don't think that is the biggest loss in the world. There is a scene in the lodger where Amy would find Rory's engagement ring, but I think we could easily just slip that into Vincent and the Doctor just to sort of tie up that loose end. Then, of course, we have the finale. The Pandorica Opens, followed by the Big Bang. It is easily one of Moffat's best finales. I think it perfectly wraps up the series as a whole, tying up some loose ends, whilst also opening some new ones, teasing the silence for Series 6. So this is what the final Series 5 would be. Soon after A Christmas Carol, we would then get Series 6, and this is when a sort of weird phase for the show begins, with the series being split in 2. The split does offer an odd narrative structure, however it does work better in Series 6 than Series 7, as we will soon learn. Back to Series 6, it would begin with the really strong opener, The Impossible Astronaut, followed by Day of the Moon, which takes us to the US for an unforgettable encounter with the Silence. In this iteration of Series 6, we would lose the Curse of the Black Spot, and with it the cameo of Captain Avery and Toby in A Good Man Goes to War, but more on that later. From here, we move to The Doctor's Wife. After that, we would then merge the following 2-part serial, The Rebel Flesh and The Almost People, into one. To be honest, I don't think there is enough good storyline in both episodes to warrant 2. However, the introduction of the Flesh is crucial, with the ending of the episode revealing that Amy has been a Flesh copy this whole time. A Good Man Goes to War has to stay, with it being the mid-season finale. There is a good amount of wrapping up the first half of the season's plot, as well as offering new threads to continue the season, including the reveal of River Song as Amy and Rory's daughter Melody. We would go straight into Let's Kill Hitler, just to sort of tie up any loose ends with the concern about the character of Melody Pond. Not only that, but I think it's crucial for the finale to make sense. After that, we would get The Girl Who'd Waited. If you told me 10 years ago I would be a fan of this episode, I would have laughed at you. I never really enjoyed this episode until I rewatched it last year and just sort of grew a real appreciation for the character of Rory. I'd never connected with him until I rewatched this episode, and I think Arthur Darvill's performance in this episode alone is wonderful. He does a lot of character work for the companion, and that is why it stays. Of course, we've had a good number of episodes staying in a row, so we would have to make some cuts. Those cuts being The God Complex and Closing Time. There's not a lot I can say about the God Complex. However, with the Lodger being disregarded from Series 5, it only made sense to cut closing time as well. Rest in peace, Craig Owens. You would have loved the Doctor Who Series 6. Obviously, that would lead us into the wedding of River Song. By the end of it, obviously not a lot is lost narratively in the second half of the season. I think there is a small number of scenes with Madame Kovarian and River Song sort of teasing the astronaut suit and everything going on in the background that could be shifted. So yeah, that would be Series 6. If you thought the series split was really confusing, Series 7 really comes and clocks everything up because we get a split of 5 and 8 episodes. Series 7A is essentially a mini-series to wrap up the pond pair, the pair of ponds. In Series 7A, we have Asylum of the Daleks, dinosaurs on a spaceship, a town called Mercy, Power of 3, and The Angels Take Manhattan. I've chosen 3 of the first 5 episodes to keep, and these would include Asylum of the Daleks, The Power of 3, and The Angels Take Manhattan. Asylum, of course, gives us Oswin Oswald, who we later know is a sort of variant of Clara as she enters the Doctor's time stream. The Power of 3 comes next. Not only does it act as a sort of Earth story for the Doctor, but we get some really good moments with Rory and Amy. We obviously have Brian Williams as well, who is introducing dinosaurs of a spaceship, but this would be his only appearance in the show. There's a great scene written by Chibnall with Brian asking the Doctor about people he's lost. It's the perfect harbinger for their fate in The Angel Takes Manhattan and really does take an effect on the viewer. After reintroducing Jenna Coleman to the show in The Snowmen and then killing her off again, The Bells of St. John would be the next episode in Series 7. It's a pretty bog-standard addition to the lineup, and this is the Impossible Girl era of the show. The Rings of Akaten would be next, and it is ridiculously essential for Clara's development as a character. We find out about her past, her parents, and are introduced to the Leaf. Next up, we have Cold War. Brilliant episode, reintroducing the Ice Warriors to the show after so many years being out of it. After Cold War, we would skip Hyde and journey to the centre of the TARDIS, the latter having some key Clara moments. I think other episodes take priority in the wide range of things. Next up, we'd have the Crimson Horror with the Paternoster gang, Strax, Jenny and Vastra returning to the show. We would skip Nightmare in Silver. I do enjoy this one, though I'm not a fan of the actual Cybermen design. This obviously would lead into the finale, The Name of the Doctor, which gives us Clara going into the Doctor's time stream, the Great Intelligence returning from their appearance in both The Snowmen and The Bells of St. John, and it perfectly leads into the 50th anniversary special with that incredible moment with John Hurt revealing himself to be the War Doctor. That brings yet another video to an end. Thank you very much for supporting. Let me know what you think of my final 8, and I would love to know everyone else's final 8, so do leave them in the comments. And also let me know what other content you want to see in the comments below. Thank you very much for supporting, and I will see you very soon for another video.